Okay, I'm moving on to, my name is Cassandra Bright. I am a psychic telepathic medium who is going to be discussing a little bit of the Macy's Day Parade, but also letting you know that lack of food, water is a way to connect to spirit. One way. Mind-body connection is another way. So yoga practitioners, however, they don't really, let's just start with that. Just for a logical, good person, intended person. Then there is education, self-discovery, and then some people just get it all thwarted, because a lot of these yoga practitioners, they're not even practitioners. They're like dumb, but the internet gives them power. So they don't really have a connection to spirit. They're connected to demon. So add in no food and water, because they claim that they eat and stuff, but look how skinny they are. Let's get real here. They don't eat. Then they have heritage, where they were born, raised, the intent to be evil anyways. The voice shows up in their head when money's the focus. Emorites is your prime example of how people went insane. Meaning, literally standing and looking in a chandelier, and that's all you can come up with. And I wasn't really talking about, I'm not talking about Steve Harvey, by the way, because he knows what it's like to be working in the dirt. But he doesn't realize that when he's talking to someone like Motivan, that she's not aware of what it's like to be in the dirt. She's always been handed everything to her, has the expectation, right? Those are the most disgusting forms of human existence on life. They think they're pure. However, they're not pure. You get that? That's an image, a facade. It's like they're insane. They think that we are supposed to cater to them. Oh, let's look at this for a minute. Through an act of will, you can direct your attention toward the impact of these influences. In some cases, these influences act in an inner way to produce feelings, impressions, and insights which take your sense of personal identity off the personality wheel and toward the individuality center. In other cases, those influences manifest as physical events and opportunities which give you a special chance to respond from your individuality instead of your personality. So you're working with people that are individuality versus personality, the facade. Material life influences, the individuality center, and the influences arising from beyond material life. The individuality center is strengthened by your frequent movement to its sense of identity. Each time you remember yourself, they never remember themselves, by the way, you make it easier and more likely that in the future you shall do so again. Meaning it's easy to get caught up in the facade of what Hollywood tries to put upon you. But you're supposed to catch yourself. However, they never do. And then it just keeps fueling more money, and then they don't see the purpose of existing except for to create more income, which is just hilarious. Let me see here. This is a graph. So this is a really good book, Thurston. There are constructive influences which come to you, which arise from beyond yourself. These influences are, in a sense, from beyond material life. They may manifest as physical events, yet their point of origin is not to be explained in terms of physical casualty. There's people that use this work for evil, though. And they abuse people. I'm still trying to figure out how they were allowed to be able to experience this. It could have been me. I think it's me that actually advanced. and God, of course. But you know how like I died and stuff like that? And then God, of course, was at the helm. But I'm just saying. But it was all purposeful to advance life into showing you. In the language of Casey readings, there is offered to you for today an opportunity to make manifest that which is ideal. But see, ideal for them mostly is finances. Not ideals, which is happiness, joy. The only thing that gets their holes filled is pearls or money or attention or making someone else feel bad. And so it's like a weaving in and out of energy of the I just don't care is the ultimate foundation of everything. I just don't care. I'm just better than you. Look at how much money I have. They're going to do what I say. I'm in charge. And that's what you guys fall into the trap of believing. In other words, each day the universal forces draw into the spheres of your life's certain people, circumstances, and situations. These special opportunities are each a challenge. They don't battle the challenge. They just buy more jewelry, get happy again, and then continue on their merry little way and try to cause trouble when they get bored, and then fuel up new problems when it suits their emotions, including children, babies. You guys don't believe me, but it just disgusts me that you don't. These special opportunities are each a challenge. With each, you have the chance to get off your personality wheel and respond to the loving, wise forces of the universe place in your life path, certain situations which hold a key for you. If they are met properly, they are a movement back toward the path of your soul's purpose. So it's like going on a path, and then you step off the path, which happens. Catching yourself and getting back on the path. Catching yourself, getting on the path. Catching yourself, getting on the path. It can be small. They never get back on a path of healing for anyone else. Or kindness for themselves or anyone else. Evil. But it occurs as pure intent. That's the evil part. So you have to be extremely self-aware. What else is going to say? They've been telling me that I'm fat today, and today I weighed myself and I was 122 pounds. So that's for the bulimia and the anorexic person to take into account that there's the demon out there that will tell you that you're too fat. It's called body dysmorphia. I literally will look in the mirror and I'll think myself fat. However, I have a scientific background in eating. And I know, like, I used to set alarms in my phone of when to eat. So I am eating. I'm just not eating like I'm supposed to be eating. So I never go a day without eating, just to let everybody know. Okay? Although they try to tell me that I'm fat, which in most women's mind and even some men's mind is why you don't eat, which is why you're anorexic. And then everybody comes over to you and hustles over you. Oh, you poor thing. You've been through so much, blah, 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 blah. It's like, shut the fuck up. Or they're abusive to you, whatever. And then it's all celebrities. So have you not seen how these celebrities look now? I mean, you have to laugh your ass off. That one skinny, blonde-faced, white-faced girl who's like a ghost with white hair. I'm like, you guys could not be enjoying this. This is such a joke to me. It's like, oh my God. So we got ugly white-faced girl who was on the chess TV show. We got Ann something who stole money from all these people, who showed up at Matthew McConaughey's house the day after his birthday. It's like, oh my God. I loved how you told that story too, by the way. And then, what's the other one? They're all just so disgusting. And then they'll sit on a stage and they'll tell how abused they've been. Oh, I took myself off social media because people were so mean to me. I'm like, okay. Let's see. In Jung's system, there's two ways it influences. The notion is within your unconscious there as an impetus toward wholeness. So that unconscious voice, when you're saying, that's not true, that's the telepathic conversation that's happening between you and a psychopath. This impetus cannot be explained in the terms of material laws, and yet it can be observed, both in your inner life and in outer events. Make sense? The second way concerns these events, circumstances which appear to have an inexplainable degree of coincidence, where described by Jung as a law of synchronicity. That's like living in the power of possibility. That's manifestation. I don't even like to use the word manifestation. But poetically, we might say that synchronicity is the answer to your question trying to find itself. Meaning, one time I went into the Gap, or the Old Navy, and everything in there, it was the weirdest thing ever. It was everything, I was like, this is some weird ass shit. I got the Rosé and the USA t-shirt. There's all this other weird stuff. That is to say, any important question you pose, such as, what is my purpose for this lifetime, has an answer. But you have to ask the question. That's why it's important to get inquisitive. See, these people don't get inquisitive. There's always this disconnect of what's in it for me. So we go back to the Napoleon Hill. What's your definite purpose, and how will I assist others? No, they're like, how am I going to make money? That's all they think about. That's why society is in its downward spiral. That's why children are dying in their cribs. That's why everything of this is happening. However, that answer has remained unconscious and seeks to come to consciousness to find itself. The solution to your question tries to make itself conscious through your experiences. So you have to do things. So pretty much the ones like Jennifer Aniston and all that, all they have to do is say, I want, and they get, and they call that manifestation. It's a power attached to it too, though. A higher than power, which is why they started all that Illuminati crap. And you feel less than when you see them on the street because you act like a fool when you see them, and that's how you know, but that's also fueled by Hollywood. So Hollywood tries to portray them as more important than you, and that's a lie. Meaning, I've told you many times that I have worked with wealthier people than them. That's the funniest part of all. I've experienced standing next to billionaires and waiting on them and them being generous and kind in conversation. And I know for a fact, the ones that I know have business about themselves. Meaning they're good intended humans who want to help people, minus a few. And they would never associate with Hollywood. Except on certain experiences or something like that. Oh, I know the guy who started Coachella. Just to let everybody know. I don't think you'll find him because he's very private. That's how you know that a person is amazing, because they keep it quiet. Some people put themselves on the list. I mean, the list about who's the richest in the world is a facade. Which is like, and you want someone like Elon Musk to be listed, though, as the richest, because you want to know that a good person's on the list. They probably pay to get on there, actually. It's good for business. It's good for his social media account. It's like, why would you even rank someone by their finances? But it is good to keep track of how much money people have to show who's the greediest. Like, it's insane to me that someone can have 300 million. See, the difference between, they'll never spend that money. It's just sitting there while people are shitting in the streets in California. However, Elon's trying to take us to the moon. So he'll likely spend, the door's closed right now, by the way. He'll probably spend all of his money trying to get us there. That's how much he cares about money. But that's how much he cares about humanity. So he has integrity about himself. That's the difference. So you want people with money with integrity at the top. Because when you don't, you have people like Addison Rae at the top. And that's when you get the socialist environment, or people like trash heaps like Obama, Hillary Clinton. Those are trailer park trash. Black Lives Matter is trailer park trash. Will Smith is not trailer park trash. Also, he's not Black Lives Matter. Let's see. In essence, this law states that the situations life which seem to be random and arbitrary can be directed by an ordering principle, which is not based on physical law of cause and effect. In other words, there are types of connectedness in the universe which are not reducible to linear time and physical energy. That's why you have to already act as if you have what you have. So you get that by them thinking they have it all. That's attracting openness to getting more of having it all. And then they tell you you're not enough, which is your subconscious telepathically communicating with their subconscious that tells you you're not enough. And then they go on their social media influencer page and tells you how they like to travel when they travel for a week, or how they travel for a weekend, and they travel all the time. And all they have are travel videos, because now she's a travel agent. Because that's her new MO, because they've been spending all this money traveling. Not even educating you on health and wellness at all, because she does not care about you. This law produces influences in our lives, and those influences often create situations which appear as meaningful coincidences. So then they create situations which appear as meaningful coincidences. So that's a little multidimensional in explanation. Meaning the law produces influence in our lives, and those influences often create situations which appear as meaningful coincidences. However, it's synchronicity. However, for them, it's more like, it's not synchronicity. It's not the law of synchronicity. It's manipulation. Suppose, for example, that you get up in the morning and at breakfast overhear your two teenagers talking about racing cars. Then in itself, it is not significant. Perhaps you've never heard them talk about this topic, but it's certainly a theme that young people might be interested in. At that time, you think nothing of it. However, later in the day, sitting in a waiting room at the dentist, you absentmindedly pick up a magazine and randomly open it. To your surprise, you've opened to a feature story about a race car driver. You probably note the unusualness of this minor coincidence. Then at the office that afternoon, your boss comes into the office excited to tell you about the sports car he has decided to buy, one and he intends to use occasionally for racing. Synchronicity. However, they think running into somebody with money and is synchronicity, and it's not. With this third occurrence, the coincidence of an event seemed too uncanny to pass off merely as a chance. It is clear that these three events did not physically cause each other. Your teenage sons did not call your boss and tell him to talk to you about his race car. Your boss did not talk to the dentist and ask that the particular magazine be placed near the chair where you were waiting. If the events are linked, it is not in a non-casual fashion. For Jung, this might be an example of synchronicity, a meaningful coincidence, but it is the meaning of these events. In some cases, it is content of the coincidences that imparts a meaning where you coincidentally synchronize, it's a message from Jesus. No, a message from God. In this way, synchronicity can serve as a type of guidance. Ooh, I just said that. And in our example, the meaning of these coincidences could be guidance to take more of an interest in racing cars. On the other hand, there is the second type of meaning found in synchronistic occurrences. It relates to the state of awareness into which one is propelled in the moment of recognizing that the unusual coincidences have happened. There is a moment which may last for 3 seconds or several hours in which you feel mystery of life. However, that's not what they think. They think, oh, well, this is my opportunity to make more money. This is my opportunity to do bad deeds. What is it about me that's so synchronistic? Oh, that's so synchronistic. It's telling you that you're a total bitch. I'm so put together. I know everything. Because if you do work on yourself to help other people, however, they never do any work on themselves. They only think about themselves. However, you guys don't get that. It's like, oh my God, are you freaking kidding me? Did you not see those photos? It is a state of awareness in which you know that the universe includes forces and influence that are beyond mechanistic material laws. You may experience such as body sensations. It might be a tingling in your spine, which accompanies the thought that something is helping to direct and order your life. So that's good stuff, but I'm experiencing bad stuff. So that's them manifesting evil thoughts in mass quantities in my direction. Dressing up and seductively looking at a camera and photography that initializes a progression of energy through the internet in mass quantities as you support it. Feeling that energy to then land upon me. It becomes their playhouse of demon behavior. And that's what your gossip does also. So those of you who work for entertainment tonight. Take a moment to think about your own life. Can you recall some synchronistic occurrences? Unlikely unless you're already awake. Let's see. There's Gurdjieff's idea of types of influences. First, there are those which arise from material life. These influences are governed by the laws of physical causation and even might add karmic causation. However, there are other fluent influences which can potentially shape your experiences in life. So I'm still trying to figure out why the karma hasn't hit yet. I'm like ready for the karma to blast off. No, I want them dead. Because that's karma in this situation. These have their own origin outside the physical life, although they may manifest in terms of material life occurrences. It's like, why is no one standing up? This like part of the karma is that everybody stands up for everybody and supports everybody and initializes the action to do work to uncover it. Not just one person sitting in front of a camera telling you da da da. No, karmic action has to be everybody takes action. And that actually is what really gets me burnt up the most about all of this when talking and watching to Gary Vaynerchuk as he fluffs ass all over the internet. I'm like, are you kidding me? That one thing is what I beat the betting about. That thing is why I beat the shit out of this betting. That's what pisses me off. And even this video will have 0 views and 0 followers, where I will experience another toxic coming out of this psychosis of a demon and then re-entering a space of peacefulness to where I will then have to encounter another nonsense bullshit where Gary Vaynerchuk has to put upon me his bullshit and then act as if nothing's going on while you all sit by and fluff his ass on his freaking content. And that pisses me off. When I spend hours sharing with you valuable information to assist you not only in your businesses, your relationships, in your growth processes. and still no verbalization, nor is there any physical financial compensation for me. However, you're taking all my information and you're running with it as if you own it. However, I completely tell you 100% that I do not own this information. However, the work is that I share with you for hours all day long. And usually when you're watching someone, no matter what space you're in, you're compensating them somehow with positive energy, with financial exchange. Or you're saying, I'm not interested, because that's how normal business deals are created. And that's the one thing that burns me up the most. So as I'm being instigated, and not very well either, by his lover, by Gary Vaynerchuk's lover, she will attempt to put her face in front of mine, by the way. That begins. And that's the kind of person that's on the top of the totem pole when it comes to influencer. And that's okay with you, Gary Vaynerchuk. And then I'm going to get a video about Be Kind movement, and I don't fucking think so, you prick. Now, this video was supposed to be on about the Macy's Day Parade, but as you know, I want to let you know that anytime I get digressed by them and their dumb relationship, I could give 2 fucks about it. However, as much as I go like this to it, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't give a shit. They're literally pushing it into my face and blocking me from being able to dissect, educate you on work that is very complicated. So I can take a work like Seth Speaks that if you're not enlightened in the way that you can process it yet, because it is a hard read. It is a hard read to understand and pay attention to what Seth has to say. Because this man is like very, very, very smart. However, my mind gets blocked by trying to push off Gary Vaynerchuk and his slut. And I'm not sure how you can even live with yourselves, honestly. I don't understand how you can live with yourselves. How can you look at yourselves in the mirror in the morning and look at seductively in a camera and think that that's appropriate behavior? Is the other thing that I can't wrap my head around, because morality is a concern here. And this is not only happening to me, by the way, it's happening to millions of other people on these platforms. And those people, I'm like, why aren't you standing up for what's right? Why aren't you standing up for your own dignity? Why aren't you standing up for your children? However, here we are again, back at square one with you never doing anything else different, and you headed down the path of your deathbed. You do you. While I watch trash entertainment news and trash news about what our government is up to, and I'm like, you have to realize that these ignorant fools on the media are all human, and they're not very intelligent humans. Not only that, they have a weird voice that is a typewriter talker, which as a yoga teacher, you never want a typewriter talk because it manipulates your audience. It creates a, what's the word? Like, it's a siren, but it's a different word. It's like, in a yoga practice, you want to make your own choices to embody the work, which is what is the opposite of what this typewriter talking is that they do. It's to create the what I'm saying is true, mind guiding you. They've made my arms fat too, by the way. I used to have such good muscle, yo. That's what they're up to. They don't want anyone to have... I was like in better shape than all of them put together. And they don't even give a crap. I'm talking about Gary Vaynerchuk and the rest of these fuck faces. I don't give a shit what you have to say, honestly. You want to really get that, y'all, though. I really give a shit. The problem is he will not leave me alone. However, you don't say nothing either, meaning I literally purposely post all over the internet trying to get some kind of razz out of you all full fucks. Fucking loser, fucking loser, fucking loser, up to fucking nothing. I purposely post all over the internet bashing him, talking shit about him, telling you what a piece of fucking shit he is. However, you say nothing. You don't say nothing about his fucking slut. You don't say nothing about those fucking photos, except for Capone going on the page and saying, oh, how awesome that is. This isn't a Cassandra Bright concern. This is a humanities concern. A humanity concern. And if I ever see that fucking bitch on the street, you better fucking believe I will pull your fucking hair out. In front of millions. And then probably pull out my taser and tase you and tell everybody you tried to attack me. Mine's red. She doesn't know how to use a taser, by the way. I'll start screaming at the top of my lungs. I'll say, no, help me, no. And then I'll grab her, tase her, and then pull her by the hair. That's what will happen. VCon 2023, baby. I'll be there. Yeah, where is she? In the middle of speak session, I will stand up in the middle of conversations, and I will stand at the front of the stage and just stand there and look at you. Embarrass the fuck out of you, because you do get embarrassed. Or if you still don't pay attention to me, I will stand in the middle of the room and scream at the top of my lungs, you fucking liar! Or even worse, when maybe Pharrell comes back and you're on the stage speaking, I'm just going to walk onto the stage because it was an open forum last time. And maybe I'll rip your hair off. What's left of it, Gary? And then as soon as that's done, I'm going to grab my flowery book bag and I'm going to run out the fucking door and you'll never fucking see my fucking ass again. As I laugh. I'll make sure I do it on the last day so I can get as much footage in as possible for when I make the news and everybody can see how awesome I am and what a piece of shit you are. Just to let you know that I would never have ever done anything like this to somebody. It doesn't matter what was at stake. It does not matter what was at stake. It just shows you what a piece of shit you are. No integrity, no morality, and you had only selfish fucking shit in your mind. With that being said, let's move on to, what do you call it? The Macy's Day thing, which I'm kind of like, don't really want to talk about it now. Anyway, instead of doing floats, you set the floats in Central Park if it's close by. You still close down the street. The businesses are open, who wants to be open. You have selfie stations. You have climbable floats with all theme. Like one year could be the eras of the ages, like 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Then you could draw or do the world, or you could just let people choose what they'd like. No celebrities, unless they are just at the float. In front of each float, or as many as you like to set up, would be talking stations, which is a place where like me and Billy would get on a golf cart and say, we're going to be here between this and this. You could also allow for Joe Rogan's, Tony Romo's, Tony actors, other performers, or people who like to, who are influencers or actresses or actors or whatever, who also would be switching. So everybody would have a schedule. I'm sorry, princess, follow the schedule. So most celebrities don't think they should have to work on the holidays. I'm sorry, you lazy bitch. You're not invited. That's all I have to say about that. The celebrities should not be riding the floats. There should be a stage in front of Rockefeller Center, a stage at the location where Rockefeller Center is hosting after the mini parade. It's a mini parade that goes at the end of the session. Motorcycle crew, military, NYPD, bands from all over the world if you want, car floats, clowns, costumes, characters, kid stuff. People will be not so jam-packed just at the float. The older kids would probably be more so at the floats where they would take the pictures, right? Once all that's done, they're going to go drive their cars over to the beer garden. So like the motorcycles guys would go over to the beer garden. They'd have a beer garden. In the morning, you could have a run. You're going to dumb everything down because y'all have made it way too bullshit. You're going to have country music, Christmas music, rappers, and all these other different things. You're going to talk to local businesses like Madame Trousseau's and see if they'd be interested. If it's available, rent a trailer and let there be little museums of location of local information. You're going to have water as a donation for people and kashi. It's actually going to pay for advertising because with all your selfie stations, you're going to have Macy's attached to it. So people are going to see the sign for Macy's. Macy's portions of the store will be open for people to actually shop. You can bus people in. I don't really know the layout, but in a lot of different other places, they bus people in or you take the train. So there's not a lot of cars. There's playhouse stuff for the kids. You can do a fundraising. You're going to have V-Friends as the focal cartoon character that's running around. So there's going to be all kinds of V-Friends running around, being funny and stuff in their costumes. You're going to ask Kashi for some free Kashi bars. Down the center somewhere, you're going to have vendors with food and homemade crafts. People love that craft. Not $2,000 crafts. No, like $60 for a bracelet. $25 for a bracelet. You can have the washing women come in. So I've been to a bunch of different kind of events like this where they had all kinds of different things like jugglers, the washing women, which is they're hilarious and they travel all over the place. Picture opportunities everywhere. Availability to take video. The stage at where the, what do you call it's going to be, is going to have a big monitor that's going to show the parade. So that means people don't have to stand over there. There's going to be a dance floor or dance location. It can just be grass. And you're going to do, you can do, this is how the easiest way to make your schedule. Here's the schedule. You're going to block off like each section. This is what would you like? This is available. This is not available. Please pick. Well, I can't do any of these. Okay, well then you're out. Next. You're going to do local bands. You're going to do famous bands. You're going to do comedians. You're going to do all kinds of different things. You're going to bring in the real people back into this Thanksgiving parade because people don't want to see a Mark Ruffalo float. That's stupid. And Mark Ruffalo doesn't want to float about him either. He's like, that's stupid. It's funny, but it's stupid. And then what else? There's not really floats, except for the floats that are on the property that are like climbing floats, just to walk around and look at your beautiful work. I mean, God, you know? Selfie stations. Gary's familiar with the little back. None of this is really that expensive, by the way. It's not time consuming either. Again, with your vending spots, how many vendors do you want? How big is the thingy? Divide it up into the tables. You get too technical. Here's the slots. Which spot do you want? Time frame. That's your spot. You can't work here. Oh, then you're out. You work with the nation. You let people pay their way. They don't pay. Let's see, do they pay? This is all advertising for Macy's. So you can literally use it as your advertising, and it's going to save you actually money. And you're actually going to make more money. And then you're going to have a fashion show because it's fun. Probably in front of Rockefeller Center with your clothes. Not with models, but with real people. Oh my God, I was in the Macy's Day Fashion Show. It was so fun. It was only an hour or something like that. And you want to bring in people from other, like Oklahoma. doTERRA. You pick a doTERRA team and then pull some of those ladies out. All sizes. Museums, playhouses, be friends, fundraising. You could do product sales for your, you could literally have Chef Kenny, my friend Chef Kenny, come in and have a blender that you want to focus on this year. And then Chef Kenny is like a sampler maker. Because Chef Kenny was on a reality television show. And then I was thinking you could do a week long and represent the Hanukkah. So is it 8 days? So your floats have to be water resistant. Or you have tents. And then these people would have to rent their tents though, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to see. Just some ideas I'm throwing out. Because what if it rains? What if it's too cold? Did I tell you about the run in the morning? That literally would be a 5K. Raising money for something. And then, what's the other thing? Yeah, it'd be like, because there's a lot of Jewish community. So, oh yeah, this is what you do. You need to partner with people. Like Madame Tussauds Museum. Or the people down the row where the Macy's Day Parade is, you need to say, how do you want to assist? Or what's available? Whatever. None of this is really that hard. Y'all just make it hard. Y'all try to be all fancy and shit. We don't give a fuck about that. You want to attract all these rich fucks, and we're not rich. We just want to have fun. Y'all are so boring. Oh, yeah. What do you think about having a jumping thingy bob? What's that jumping thing? A pillow. A jumping pillow. Those are fun. Oh, the other thing I was going to tell you about what happens in... we're transitioning. That's it. That's all I have. So people could walk over to Macy's and purchase the blender that Kenny is demonstrating, or he has it there and there's a person there taking cards and stuff. Okay, so it could be a little bit fun too with sales. People who set up and break down should not be there all day long unless they're enjoying themselves. So you got to remember that it is a holiday and that people are not going to kill themselves for you. So finding enough staff and making sure that they have an enjoyable, because I don't care if I work Thanksgiving. I just don't care about the holidays. It's like I worked so many holidays that's like whatever. It's like y'all make it into such a big deal. To me, it's just another day of eating a meal. And I don't even really like to eat that much. So it's like, okay. In Denver, this is transit system for something to consider in New York City. And I don't even know, really didn't look like a whole lot of people were walking the streets when I was there that day. Cars in, 1 lane for cars, one way. 1 lane of cars the other way. Down the center are trolleys. They would come like every 15 minutes. Above. And the same trolley would go only front to back. Front to back. Front to back. Front to back. Back and front. Back and front. Back and front. That's it. What else? You should check it out, though. It's in Colorado. In Denver. And there's shops all up and down. And that's what you're really focused on. So it's not all over the city, not yet anyway, but utilizing one strip of shopping. Because if people are tired and they're going into, this is poor people. If people are going shopping and they want to do some browsing, they get tired. I only want to do 2 stores. I'm tired. I want to go home. I just walked all that way. Nobody wants to use the subway. It's depressing. The subway should run like this. Which I think it does. There should really be there should not even be allowed to have cars in the city, if you ask me. It should all be public transportation. There should be no buses. I think these are more, what do you call it? I don't understand the bus system. Unless the bus system runs, it's going to take you forever to get somewhere, but that's your own fault. Besides, it's called an adventure. It's going to take you to get there a long time anyway. It's like keeping people out of the city that don't belong in the city, y'all. Like on a Friday night, go at your own fucking place. Or you take the adventure and stay the night in the city and spend your money. Okay, so we got people on the outside. These are the bus system stops. These are the bus systems. Most people don't understand your public transit system. I don't understand it. I'm just making up shit. That makes sense though, doesn't it? So the buses don't come into the city. That's what these are for, and that's what the subway's for. Alleviates another traffic jam, which you then could start creating dumpsters somehow, because I cannot believe y'all in your trash. It's like unbelievable to me. And everyone's sidewalk needs to be pressure washed, including the whole sidewalk that the Macy's Day Parade goes on. It's like piles of trash. And then all those cars and shit. If you're a policeman, you need to actually, and you don't live in the city, then I'm sorry, but you cannot drive unless you are special. Meaning, if you have special passes or some shit like that. Not that you pay. I don't think you should have to pay to park. That's what taxes are for. You guys have all your systems all fucking messed up. You're going to tell me I got to pay for the land that I parked my car on? That's what I think SPLOST tax should be for. But you don't use it for that. That's why nobody wants it. Because y'all fucking liars. I voted for yes for the SPLOST tax. Just to let you know. I also voted all red. Vote for Herschel. My hair looks like shit. This is what happens when you get abused by the psychopaths. Is you turn into jiggly, flare-haired nonsense. Okay. The soul perceives all experience directly. I'm going to finish up the last little bit with this. Most experiences of which you are aware come packaged in physical wrapping, and you take the wrapping for the experience itself and do not think of looking inside. Oh. The world that you know is one of an infinite materializations taken by consciousness, and as such it is valid. Meaning all you do is take a look at someone's outside and you never go in deeper, and now you know why you're fucking miserable. Because you worship Kim Kardashian, and she forces you to by bombarding us, working with the media and the Democratic Party, and if you fuck her over, she will fuck you. And then she will claim because she was so abused by you. However, she asked for it. You want to get how sick that is? That means she's not a leader. However, she's claiming leadership. She's looking at this chart and she's coming up with some new idea that she's going to steal from me. The soul, however, does not need... She had the naked revolution. The soul, however, does not need to follow the laws and principles that are part of the physical reality and does not depend upon physical perception. The soul's perceptions are at facts, the events that are mental, that lie, so to speak, beneath physical events as you know them. The soul's perceptions are not dependent upon time because time is a physical camouflage. And it does not apply to non-physical reality. Meaning I can talk to people from the future. I can talk to people from the past. I'll have to do, well, it's something that you'll never be able to do. And I'm not going to tell you any more about it. Now, it is difficult to explain to you how direct experience actually works, for it exists a total field of perception innocent of the physical clues such as color, size, weight, and sense with which your physical perceptions are clothed. Words are used to tell of an experience, but they obviously are not the experience that they attempt to describe. Your physical subjective experience is so involving with word thinking, however, that it is almost impossible for you to conceive of an experience that is not thought word oriented. Now, each event of which you are aware is already a translation of an inner event, a psychic or mental event that is perceived by the soul directly, but translated by the physically oriented portions of the self into physical sense terms. Do you get that? You're saying you get it because it's complicated. It goes without saying that the soul does not require a physical body for purpose of perception. The perception is not dependent upon physical senses. That experience continues whether or not you are in this life or another, and also that the soul's basic methods of perception are also operating within you now, even as you read this book. It also follows that your experience within the physical system is dependent upon a physical form and physical senses, again, because these interpret reality and translate into physical data. The sixth sense is intuition. It's a sense. It also follows that some hints of the soul's direct experience can be gained by momentarily switching the physical senses off by refusing to use them as perceptors and falling back upon other methods. Now, you do this to some extent in the dream state, but even then in many dreams, you still tend to translate experience into hallucinatory physical terms. Most of the dreams that you recall are of this nature. At certain depths of sleep, however, the soul's perception operates relatively unhampered. You drink, so to speak, from the pure well of perception. You communicate with the depths of your own being and the source of the creativity. These experiences not being translated physically does not remain in the morning. You do not remember them as dreams. Dreams, however, may later the same evening be formed from an information gained during what called the depth experience. These will not be exact or near translations of the experience, but rather of the nature of the dream parables, an entirely different thing, you see. Now, this particular level of consciousness occurring in the sleep state has not been pinpointed by your scientists. During it, energy is generated that makes the dream state itself possible. It is true that dreams allow the physically oriented self to digest current experience, but it is also true that the experience is then returned to its initial components. Oh, I love you. I know I love you. I'm being selfish. I'm like, I want Seth to be Seth, but I'm like loving that Seth is a baby. So I'm like, I'm like torn. I'm so torn, Seth. But he's a baby. He's not happy. He's not a happy baby right now. It breaks apart, so to speak. Portions of it are retained as past physical sense data, but the whole experience returns to its initial direct state. My other biggest complaint about all of this is how fucking psycho you all are, in the sense that just because you let a child come out of your private parts, that you think you own it. However, what you do to these children is so psychotic and disbelievable that you all think that because they smile on camera and use a fancy little mom voice, that they're getting the proper care that they deserve. And instead, what they do is when the baby's not as attractive as that baby or that baby, then they abuse them. And then they record them for the opportunity to gain finances somehow in hopes to become a celebrity off their child. Or they like you to look at them as a victim. Oh, and poor me. Poor me. Look at me, poor me. My baby's annoying me, poor me. Or you seductively breastfeed the child and nobody says anything. I still cannot believe you all, you specifically, Gary, just sitting there watching it all as if it's no big deal. And there's like mass quantities of this going on, by the way. It exists then and externally separated from the physical clothing that you need in order to understand it. Physical existence is one way in which the soul chooses to experience its own actuality. The soul, in other words, has created a world for you to inhabit, to change. A complete sphere of activity in which new developments and indeed new forms of consciousness can emerge. In a matter of speaking, you continually create your soul as it continually creates you. Aw, you're so cute, baby. Seth, are you saying I know? I'm reading to the babies. Now the soul is never diminished, nor basically or any portions of the self. The soul can be considered as an electromagnetic energy field of which you are a part. It is a field of concentrated action when you consider it in this light, a powerhouse of probabilities or probable actions seeking to be expressed. A grouping of non-physical consciousness that nevertheless knows itself has an identity. Look at it this way. The young woman through whom I speak once stated in a poem, and I quote, "These atoms speak and call themselves my name." I'm gonna cry. No. No, you're mine. That's for darn sure. My baby. Ray Ray's my baby. Violet and Scout are my babies. They're trying to make me forget your name, but you know you're my baby. His little nose. I got lots of babies, by the way. The only reason I still stay is for my babies. Yep. Other than that, I could give two shits because you all abuse me. And I just really think it's humorous that you enjoy watching me suffer like this without saying anything. And you think that me teaching in this capacity is going to make a difference when 0 people are watching while you maliciously... I ain't talking about that bitch. I'm talking about you posting your bullshit. Anyway, Macy's, I hope you enjoyed our little thingy bob. You probably have to get rid of the bus tours within the city. Maybe not. I don't know, some things to think about. got that done. We got that done. We got that. We got a little bit done today, didn't we? Even though it's Thanksgiving and y'all are probably drunk as shit right now. As you always are, Gary, because now you're an alcoholic. So in the old days, when people get drunk, they usually screw who's sitting next to them. So every time I see you in photos and video, you're wasted and plastered, which means you likely go back to her room and screw. So anytime people go to parties and they get drunk, their guard is down, and Gary is always drunk. So that means he likely has been screwing her all the time. So I find it quite humorous that you get drunk and put yourself at risk every single time. And so that's another reason why I will never trust you, because you are a liar.